All right, welcome back to Nerds by Screenlight after a extended hiatus of, 2 months now?
Yeah.
It wasn't intentional.
Well, yeah.
We had a plague of both our houses.
Yes.
Literally.
All right, well, welcome back. My name is Aaron.
I'm Phil.
I'm Vicki.
And I'm Zoe.
And it's the first time in 2 months we've been able to do this conversation. So where have we been?
Sick. On antibiotics.
Yeah.
Burning.
It's burning.
Unable to even talk in my case for a lot of it.
What is the quote from Knight's Tale? Pain.
Yes.
Pain.
And then you get that 1 week where you kind of feel okay, and you're like, I just want to do something outside.
Right.
So it's like let's not do the podcast this week and do it next week, and then someone else is sick, and then it's just
It
Over
really
and over.
was.
it's gonna snowball.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, internet, seriously. I had a sinus infection, and then I got off antibiotics in the morning, and that afternoon I started having symptoms again.
Yep.
Went to the doctor 48 hours later, and I was diagnosed with strep.
Yeah.
So basically, for a month, I was either on antibiotics or symptomatic.
Yep.
I did not have a good time. And Aaron was sick, too, and had to get on antibiotics.
Yep. I had
But
2
he
rounds.
something else.
2 rounds. It was great.
Bronchitis.
It was, yeah. It's, not the double pneumonia that the Pope is currently experiencing.
Oh, jeez.
If you're curious as to what the Pope's been up to, he's in the hospital, not having a good time.
No.
I've mentioned this. So there's a separate podcast off the Create at Morgan thing where we do a religious podcast with a friend of mine, and I expressed concern that the Pope may be term limited by disease in his infection situation. So
Pneumonia's a bad way to go.
We may have a new Pope here in a month or so, and because the guy's been a good Pope,
I like him.
Yeah, he's been all right. He's been a lot better than most. So anyway, we've just.
But
It
Zoe
has-
and Phil have been sick, too.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
to talk about your illnesses?
Lots of burning in my throat. That's not okay. And then we had parent-teacher conferences that I think made it even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't push through.
The whole
because-
thing, for you, is it's hard for you to take the time off.
Yep.
So you have to weigh your options.
Yeah.
Literally.
I was proud of you that you took those 2 days off in a row,
Yes.
because you never do that.
And I literally slept all 48 hours of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I was
'cause
like, if you're starting to feel better, take the next day off so it all doesn't
You don't relapse.
come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at you on the day you were in, and you looked miserable, and you sounded off when I said, Zoe, either go to don't wait to go to a doctor. She's like, I don't like doctors. I'm like, I don't either, but you gotta go.
Zoe and I talked about this Friday. I tried to be very gentle, like, hey, here's some good options.
Yes. Yeah, she told me of some good doctors in Fort Morgan.
And I told you a good horror story of somebody who didn't take care of themselves their first year teaching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ended up in the ER a couple times.
So
Yeah.
please, work-life balance is important.
Yes, and see a doctor once in a while.
Yes.
Get your vaccinations.
Get your annual
eat your
appointment.
vitamins.
Eat your vitamin. Drink water.
Drink water.
And I will say, regular listeners of the show, you guys know I have a little throat itchy cough that's just always there. So if you hear me cough, I'm not sick.
And you can't get it.
You
We're
can't
not-
get it. No one's going to get it, okay?
Phil is in a quarantine booth in the basement.
Oh my
In a
gosh.
far
There's
corner.
plexiglass around his chair.
Plexiglass. we have a negative pressure monitor going on. He will be
Oxygen flow is
Yeah.
constant.
Yeah, we spare no expense here on Nerds by Screenlight.
It's not like back in the COVID days where you would watch TV with your mask on.
Here's somebody cough. You're like, oh gosh.
Or they would tell you, don't touch your face. And you're like, I can't touch my face.
Well, because you told me not to. Now
I
I want to
won't
touch
touch my
it.
face.
But I have a load in my house.
Oh, it's oh man, it's been a ride. It's been a
not been
wild
fun.
ride. We are a week away from spring break.
Yay!
So we're all ready to kind of just have a break.
Yes.
Okay, so in the interest of transparency, I don't know where I put it. The thing that says it's my show that Zoe and Phil were kind enough, that their family members were kind enough to purchase for me. It's sitting around here somewhere. I lost it. It's on.
No air.
I saw it last time we were here.
Yeah, it's in the studio somewhere. Anyway, so
My mom's going to be like,
it's Mama.
I'll help him
Mama,
find
Mama.
it.
I promise it's here. It's got.
I think
it's
the
not been
Wi-Fi will
lost.
help.
Yeah, we'll find it. So I take a lot of pride in the program. Like, I really love what we do here. I love the occasions we get together. And so the last episode we did, I think it was before Christmas.
it was
Yep.
right before.
Yeah, right before
It
Christmas
was almost Christmas Eve
Yeah.
when we did it.
Yeah, so we reviewed Red One, the movie that we had been talking about for a couple of weeks, and we finally bit the bullet and said, okay, let's do this. And so the reason why it didn't make it to air is because I felt like I monopolized. That's not the word.
You tried.
Tried.
A for effort.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's okay.
We're in the you tried phase of Zoe's evaluation of
Yes.
the program. We haven't gotten to I can't even yet, so we're
good.
We're good. Things are fine. It's fine.
Everything's on fire, but it's fine.
Yes.
So I monopolized. Gosh dang it. Monopolized. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I monopolized a lot of the time, and like me and Phil were kind of talking before we started recording. We're like, yeah, we felt like we were a little bit more negative about the thing, and it's a fine movie. You know, me and Phil did not enjoy.
Yeah, we gave it the beats.
Yeah,
And Zoe and I were like, it's okay.
Yeah.
We took it out back and shot it in the face.
Yeah, what did we do? Try to resuscitate it?
Literally, yes.
I'll get the AED.
Yes. They
Sorry.
brought it
That
back.
was so dark.
They brought it back as Frankenstein's monster, and it lives on to
Gosh.
this.
Okay, this is setting. This is
lives
going
on
too
to this
dark.
day. Anyway, so the reason why the episode never came into air is because it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel like it was a good like program with all of us. And I kept putting it off because I was just like, I don't feel good about this. And again, a lot of people worked on that movie. They did. I mean, people put their livelihoods on this thing. And so me and Phil did not enjoy. Vicki and Zoe obviously did enjoy, and your mileage may vary. I wouldn't see it again, but
I would.
I would
I
too.
would-
I'll
yeah.
watch it with you.
And I think that was
To be fair, I said I would have to watch it multiple times to.
right to
Then
appreciate.
I would probably start to like it. But
Right.
first viewing, no.
Yeah, not so much. So there you go. There's our explanation for as the second of the missing episodes. We've only had 2 missing episodes so far.
Yes.
The first one was because of it went into like chipmunk land, and then this one was just not as good a quality as we actually have. This podcasting experience was came about. So it was back in 2014, 13. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. Anyway, we had an anniversary that I didn't celebrate. So we've been around.
Celebrations.
7 years is how long it's been around. So it was kind of cool to kind of sit in that and be like, wow, I've been recording stuff for 7 years into the internet and sending it out into the ether.
Congratulations.
Woo! And people listen to us, and that's what we love. So hi, listeners.
I think it's amazing that I've been doing this now for almost 2 years.
I know.
Gosh, that's crazy.
It's hard to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never thought I would be on Nerds by Screenlight.
Yeah.
But when you were with our original host, you guys were talking about The Hobbit, and I kept wanting to interject, but I wasn't on it. And I was like, I need to get on that show.
Right.
So that's how I ended
It was a
up here.
very intense process to apply. We take blood, we take hair follicles.
Oh my
We do a deep dive. We contract out the CIA.
So I didn't just get in because I'm his wife.
Right. Yeah, we bring in a panel of judges. We spare no expense here on Nerds by Screenlight.
Who are the judges that you brought in?
Simon Cowell.
Oh no.
Paul Hollywood. Like,
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Paul Hollywood from Bake Off.
I made him my banana bread. That's why I'm here.
I don't know who the third judge would have been.
Paula Abdul.
Just for
She's
the heck
the
of
nice
it.
one.
We bring in a nice. Yeah, she would
Had her
balance-
cassette tape when I was a kid.
Oh,
Gotta
yeah.
bring a Paula Abdul.
Good old Paula Abdul.
And Wolfgang Puck.
And just because, yeah, that's true. And like, what's his bucket? Guy Fiero. Bring in Guy Fiero to round out the judges. A true eclectic mix
No,
of
we have
judges.
to have Pauly Shore.
Oh yeah, hey Geppetto.
Never fails to get brought up on the podcast.
That dude
We
is
probably
not
do
allowed
have
to
to
judge me.
Or anyone, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is outright banned from any judging of anyone in any vehicle.
You could disqualify it because of Pinocchio.
Yeah. Sorry, we don't like your movie, but
You not that movie.
I'm sorry, Paulie. It's just not going to work out. The movie, it's too much. People don't like it. They're going to react when they hear you on the program. Okay. I don't know what that accent was.
it's okay. Just go with it.
A little mafia,
Just
but it's
to-
okay.
Keep us off topic for a little bit longer.
Sure.
Longest intro ever.
Zoe and I watched Gotham Comedy Club.
Okay.
It's like a month ago now.
Yeah.
Where Pauly Shore hosted it.
Okay.
Yes.
It was not good.
It was a little cringy just because his comedy doesn't.
He tried to be edgy, and it's just not good.
It's not the vibes anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So like what I remember seeing Jim Carrey, like recently when he was on a talk show and it wasn't as funny as it used to be.
Yeah, it just doesn't hit anymore.
yeah.
Like, it's cringy. It's like,
It's like, dude.
just shh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just introduce the next comedian and just,
Yeah. Yep.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I think there is that element of what is still acceptable or what is still funny. And it's
It
like
changes.
Yeah, it does. It's
The thing is, I think what he said would have been funnier coming out of someone else's mouth.
yeah, but because it's probably short,
Yeah.
it just doesn't hit right.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you SNL celebrated their 50th anniversary a couple weeks back?
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Did you watch it at all?
I strongly dislike SNL.
I'm not big
her
on it
dad.
either.
My heart.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So
I stopped watching SNL once Lonely Island stopped being on there. and
okay.
Andy Samberg.
Oh yeah. So they had their SNL 50th anniversary, and so I have not watched Weekend Update in a very long time. My love of Weekend Update will forever be with Norm Macdonald, who did Weekend Update, got fired from Weekend Update for some jokes about O.J. Simpson and that whole thing.
Irma.
It's if you go back and you like YouTube it, it is the humor is just cuts to the center. It's hilarious, but it's also like they bowed to pressure of having him fired. And what's funny is a year and a half later, he came back and he hosted SNL
Oh.
after that.
Okay.
If you want to find out, like if you really want to discover kind of like a comic that never stopped being funny and always had the ability to just take control of the show, Norm Macdonald was the man. He was just... He's hilarious. He was fantastic. Anyway, my point is that there were some actual good, like the Weekend Update guys are probably the funniest part of SNL now. Like I watch them, so it's Michael Che and some other guy who's married to Scarlett Johansson. No joke, one of them is, and they're actually kind of funny. Like I laughed when I watched them. I was like, okay, this is kind of good.
Yeah.
The rest of it, not so much. But anyway.
I'd have to check out that segment then.
Yeah, SNL. It's again that idea of like what's funny, what's current. What feels like it's more political or more like controversial in conversation versus just trying to make me laugh, and I need that in my life.
But there is, I think, such a thing as like timeless humor.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
But it's tricky.
Yeah, and we like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. All those like classic movies. One more sidestep on the detour. I was watching a video from somebody or whatever. I've kind of reading up on it, but people are talking about how movies they don't look like good movies anymore. Like you go back and you watch the old, like even in the 90s or whatever, and you watch how movies were framed and shot and characters were portrayed and things happened, and it doesn't feel like they're smart. It doesn't feel like they're interesting or they're gonna keep that. Like Twister remains a favorite. I could watch that all day long every day because I love it so much. Twisters, meh. Like it was interesting. It was kind of fun. It was like, whoa, yeah, we're back in the world, but it didn't have that oomph, like, oh man, that's Bill Pullman. Oh man, it's Helen Hunt. I love those characters. Oh, I love it. Give me more of that. So I think there's just something to be said for the state of media. I mean, we've had this conversation. The state of media kind of feels just empty. Mm-hmm. Like you go back, like Vicki went back and watched The Vampire Slayer and loved
Buffy.
loved that rewatch. Yes.
They're talking about
There's talking
bringing
about
it back.
Yeah. No, and
which I hope they do well. I'm glad they're not bringing back the original director, just because as I've dug back into the Buffy universe, like the director was a brilliant writer, but there are ways that he treated the cast members that are not okay.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon has a bit of a past and a bit of a current, so he's anyway. But what's interesting, so yeah, but like Buffy the Vampire Slayer remains pretty good, and people like talk about. It's kind of like it's Friends. Friends, people watch it all the time. They love it. But Buffy has kind of returned back into the zeitgeist, partially because of the announcement, but also because people are able to get a hold of it, and they're like, this was good television.
Yeah.
What's interesting, obviously Michelle Trachtenberg recently passed away. Concerns either it was because
That's crazy.
due to liver transplant. So we'll end on this, then we'll jump into the main. Did you ever see Eurotrip?
Yes.
Did you see Eurotrip?
I believe so.
Did you see Eurotrip, Vicky?
No.
Is it like?
It's like American Pie, basically, but
But I've also seen the movie Road Trip.
No, it's Eurotrip. It's different from Road Trip.
Okay.
So Eurotrip, it's kind of a gross out comedy. It's a movie of its time, but there's a song in that movie called "Scotty Doesn't Know."
yes.
And it's sung by none other than Matt Damon in a role that people lose their minds over when they watch that movie for the first time. They're like, what? And the idea is that one of the characters in the movie, his girlfriend, is having an affair with Matt Damon's character, and he doesn't know about it until the song gets sung in front of the whole like high school group as they're graduating. Yeah, Scotty doesn't know, and it's so catchy. Like it's come up on my Spotify because I have it, and so when it comes up, I'm just like, yeah, this is totally inappropriate, but it's funny. And then you go back and you watch the scene and you're like, oh, poor guy.
I'm low-key surprised you've ever watched that movie.
I kind of am as well.
It's been like 10 years.
It's not your vibe.
It's not. Well, so there's elements of that movie that are funny. Like there's.
You watched it during your hospital janitor days.
No, I
Is that
don't
what
even
it is?
think that. I think it was before that. To be honest with you,
Yeah, 'cause it's old.
I haven't watched it recently.
Okay.
So yeah, but Michelle Trachtenberg is in the movie, and the idea for her is Michelle Trachtenberg has always been a beautiful young woman and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And the point in the movie is that all the boys, the guys that are along for the trip, they don't think of her as a girl. They're like, oh, you and the other guys, and she's like, but I'm a girl. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. And they totally don't view her as a woman, like a girl. And it becomes this ongoing joke, where she's just like, I'm a girl. Would you? And they don't view her as that because they're all friends or whatever.
Good 2004.
2004, yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, that
That
tracks.
And that, yeah. Anyway, so that scene, Scotty doesn't know.
You were in college, or like just
no, I was
taking a break from college,
yeah, I
but
was
like
taking-
college age.
I was I was taking a break from college at that point. So I
And
don't
Road
think
Trip was 2000.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in theaters. I probably watched it on
You're like
Netflix.
early 20s, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that
something
fits
like
the
that.
age bracket.
So there you go. Yeah, so pour one out for Michelle Trachtenberg. She was an incredible actress. If you look at her filmology, she started with Harriet the Spy, and parlayed that into success beyond that. And just in the last couple of years, she's had some health issues apparently as well. We also want to say we're sad that Gene Hackman passed away under mysterious circumstances that they're still not talking about. He was 95, so who knows what really happened there. There's been a lot of losses in Hollywood, which makes me sad. So anyway, there you go. If you haven't ever watched Scotty Doesn't Know, the scene is hilarious because it's just the character Scotty is just standing there, and it's dawning on him that she's been cheated on because he's like Matt Damon's character goes, happy anniversary, and it's just like what? What is going on?
Yes.
And yeah, it's kind of hilarious. So there you go. All right. Well, we are about to go to the shop around the corner. We'll be right back after this here on Nerds by Screenlight.
Get nerdy with me. Talk nerdy to me. Get nerdy with me. All I really need for you to do is just please
I can stop.
talk to me. Talk nerdy to me.
All right. Welcome back to Nerds by Screenlight. My name is Aaron.
I am Phil.
And Vicki.
And I'm Zoe.
And we are finally getting to the shop around the corner, which is the original movie, which then spawned the movie You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. We will eventually get to that one.
You could do it next week.
Yeah, we can
Well, not next week, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, because we're spring break hits that week.
I have
Next
feelings.
You have feelings?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil the end.
No.
You know where we give the ratings?
Okay.
No. Stop.
Did Phil not enjoy this movie? No? You didn't like this movie?
Not at all.
I'm also going to be honest. I don't really like it either.
What?
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, so I've never seen You Got Mail.
Okay.
This movie does not make me excited to watch You Got Mail.
Which it makes me excited because
But
I like
I-
You've Got Mail better.
Yeah.
It started off fine. We'll get to the point where I will tell you my switch turned off.
I'm super curious.
Okay. All right. I don't have my notes because it's been a day. So we're going to need Vicki and Zoe and whoever else's help to get through this because they are the all-stars of the show. They are always notating and writing and
I
keeping
stopped
track.
halfway through. So.
Oh, Aaron, get your phone, like get the plot points at
It'll-
least, because I just have my trivia.
It'll be great. It's going to be fine. Okay.
So it's in Hungary or
Hungary.
Yeah.
Hungary. Yep.
And we start off by, well, we get like a strange title card that explains what the shop is.
Okay, so so here's the thing. Okay. So we have to always talk about the movie the time that this movie was made in.
1940.
Yeah, so 1940, very different. No, I'm not looking for ship. I'm looking for shop around the corner.
The little shop around the corner.
No, it's the shop around the corner. It's not the
Okay,
little shop.
while he looks, I'll interject that the director was inspired with this movie by working for his father's shop in Berlin. So he used his experience with that to sort of inspire it. And the film's a tribute to the owner and employees of the Berlin clothing firm S. Lubitsch. Sorry,
Okay.
my German don't even. But I thought that was interesting. And you think about the time period, this is like early or like even pre-World War II.
Yeah, like right before.
Yeah, very much before. So it was probably shot in like 1939.
Yeah.
So it's not a modern movie by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
So the title cards you're seeing are basically kind of the same. Like it's a statement of the time. So you would see that in the early 1940s, late 1930s, would still be a thing. So then I do remember this part. So it opens up with they're all arriving at the shop.
Yeah, all the employees.
They're trickling in, yep.
Yeah. What I love about this scene is it gives us the exposition dump without giving us the exposition dump. We get to figure out what everyone's character is kind of all about. And you get this sense that that as good as they are working together, that there is this tension between all of them. Because, like, what is our main character's name?
Kralik.
Alfred
Alfred.
Kralik. Yeah, Kralik. So Kralik comes in, and he had just had an evening of dinner at his boss's place.
Expecting a promotion.
Which he did not get. Did not get. But he had a 7-course meal or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, oh, I'm feeling it.
And he asked for like basically a soda.
Yeah, no. So he asked for basically Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I didn't wonder what the
sodium
was.
bicarbonate, which I think is what he asks for, or something or whatever.
The boss did, yeah.
Yeah, he asked. Well, both.
They both do.
Oh, they both?
Yeah, they both do. So Jimmy and he goes, oh well, did you like it? And so then, Jimmy Stewart's character Alfred immediately, whatever the other Yahoo's name.
I love Peppy. He's my favorite.
Yeah,
Vardis.
No.
Yeah, Vardis.
What is it, Vardis? It's the old guy with the kids. I can't remember
Their
his
names
name.
were just.
Yeah, so Ferenc
Yeah.
Vardis is the two-faced, jerk.
Looks like a barbershop
So
quartet
he
wannabe.
kind of starts like, oh, you didn't like it, and so Valak immediately goes, okay, everybody, come together. We gotta. I'm taking.
You heard what I said, right?
You heard
I
what
didn't say this.
and it becomes this whole situation. But what I love about it is it tells us that Vadik is probably a little bit of a trouble starter. He stirs that pot, man.
He's a drama starter.
But it's funny because Vadik, names are hard today. Kralik is like, no. We're not getting started with the day.
He's like, I said I had. You said I had too much. He said I had a little too much. Like,
There's a difference.
There's a difference. Now
this was the first part of the movie where I was like, oh my goodness, what's happening? Like, it just took it way too seriously. Like,
That's kind of what I thought at first too, and then I watched it more than once, and I've kind of looked at his character, and I'm like, oh no, it's founded.
yeah.
Yeah, well, and you have to also realize, so Kralik, he's obviously trying for promotion. So coming off of that dinner, he didn't get the promotion he was expecting. He had way too much food. It was very good, but his stomach is very rumbly-tumbly. And so then he's like, hey, give me an Alka-Seltzer. And then Vadik starts in on him about, oh, you didn't. And he's just like, look, man.
We trying to start.
I'm trying to survive the day, number one.
Right.
It's too early for this. Oh, well, I didn't
My
get this like
stomach
half of
is
you.
going to end up on your face if you keep this up. Please, stop it. And then the boss shows up, and everyone's like, oh, Mr.
And he asked for Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah.
too.
Poor Peppy, man. He just like going back and forth.
So here's what I love Peppy's character.
He's
arc,
the
though.
best with his little tie. He's
Yeah,
my
he is.
favorite.
Honestly,
great.
he's kind of an inspiration.
Yeah.
His arc
Yeah.
and what he works himself towards
Yeah.
is cool.
And his voices.
Yeah.
He is a talented.
Yes. Talented
Man,
actor.
yes.
Yeah.
He's got skills. So we get into the shop. We find out that Kralik is basically the postal clerk. He's in charge of postage, but he's also in charge of like the storeroom. He's got a pretty good job, and he does a really good job at it. And then we meet our femme fatale.
Novak. Miss Novak.
Yep, Miss Novak. Okay, so how much farther do we have until your flip switch? Your switch?
A little bit.
Okay. Okay.
I think we like skipped over something.
What did we skip over?
Because don't they talk about the letters way before she even comes into the store?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. This is why we have
fair
you.
point.
This is why you're here, Zoe. So yeah, so he's,
You're here for more than that.
I mean, you're here for a lot of reasons.
He wants to buy an encyclopedia or something, and
Yeah.
that's how he.
right, because he's like, I got to be able to conversate intelligently with this woman, and because
Okay, Zoe took a note here. She said, the very first Craigslist.
I put Craigslist ad of the past.
Yeah, where it's like,
I need a friend.
missing connection.
yeah. So
Who's of the opposite sex?
Yes.
so
Basically.
this is what before Craigslist, before any of those things,
Dating apps.
before dating apps, for those
Like an
Ads in
ad out in the
newspaper.
paper. Yeah.
for those of you who have never held a newspaper in your hands, there were classifieds, and there were classifieds for like jobs. Yeah, there were but there were also classifieds for like looking for pen pals, looking for dating, looking for friendship, and it was completely normal.
Yes.
If you're out there going, that sounds really creepy, it was normal. It was an accepted part of
a
society.
different-
It
time.
got creepy, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's.
But not
there's,
yet.
We're
not there yet.
We as humans have never been able to do moderation well with anything that we've
kinda true.
had given access to, and so. So he's talking about this girl, she's so intelligent, she's so well regarded.
She's the most wonderful woman in the world.
I have to be
The guy's like, oh, she must be, or like, oh, she's so intelligent. Oh, she must be ugly.
oh,
It's like, no.
They also said something about like not telling each other their names,
yeah. So they
really don't know who the.
Don't tell me what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what you look like.
right. Yeah, don't do that.
Let's keep this pure.
Yeah.
Is kind of what she's saying.
So we got the letters, and we also got something that reoccurs throughout the movie too.
Yes.
When they first get to the shop and the boss shows up and he looks in the window, he's like, "Who put that there?"
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
And then later on, he looks at the window and he's like, "We got to redo this or whatever."
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, you work, What do you mean? Are you just now seeing this when you show up today? Like,
literally.
was it not there when you left last night?
Yeah.
He gets on my nerves.
So Mr.
Yes, he does.
How do we say his name?
I didn't even try. I call him the boss.
The boss.
Because
Matusik, I think.
Matusik.
Matusik.
Yeah.
Mr.
It said
Matusik.
149 times in the film.
God, it
Well,
There's
because
your
it's
trivia.
his name.
It's too many.
Yeah.
It's the shop's
Yeah.
name.
it's Mrs. his wife
Mrs.
too.
Matusik.
Should
Yeah.
we call him Mr. M?
I like saying Matusik.
Or you
but-
say it, and we'll just
Okay.
nod.
I'm
smile.
your Matusik man. Here we go.
So you're here to help.
I'll be like Mr. And then you chime in.
Aaron, say it again.
Ooh, it could be like a song like Matusik.
Oh my God, no.
Matusik. Matusik.
Okay, stop it. You're going to make me join you.
Oh God.
This is how my brain works, you guys.
Get you a man like Matusik.
Okay,
Do
no,
not.
I just don't know.
Zoe is like, no, this is not.
You
this
can do so much better.
I second that. Those lyrics, no.
You're like, please,
I
can
was
you
into it until you got the lyrics.
call the wicked screenwriters and music makers? Like, seriously, dude.
Next ostinato.
Stay in your lane as being the Wizard of Oz because that's where you were amazing.
Yes.
And that happens to be the boss played the
Yes.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that's
And-
right. Yeah,
yep,
he did.
They're tying.
So Matusik is, so Kralik has been here forever. He's been doing this forever. And so then the cigarette box situation
Oh
occurs.
my
He
gosh.
says exactly. I think it was like, it's either 7 or 9 years he's
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah.
I think it's 7. I wanna
7.
say-
And he started from the bottom, like
Yep.
all the way up.
Yep.
So.
Cool.
He's been working at it. So then we have the cigarette box.
Oh my God, this thing.
Okay. Zoe has feelings.
It's just because I'm like,
It's
dude,
really irritating.
why do you ask his opinion if you don't even want it?
Right.
No kidding.
Okay, well, so here's the thing. So what we don't know is there is something underneath the surface here.
And I love the guy that just goes up the stairs and gets out
Every
of the room.
time. Now that
like,
I
that's
know,
my spirit animal.
now that I know why he's doing that, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But at
I
first,
want your honest
He
opinion.
just goes up and
Right.
runs out of the room.
at first I thought he was just like a coward or something.
No.
Didn't want to be around
He
for
knows
the
his
smoke.
boss.
No, what it tells you is there's probably a history. Pirovich is his name. Pirovich has probably in the past offered his opinion and then been just like browbeaten.
And watched other people
Yeah.
get browbeaten.
Right. So he
just nope, we're leaving the room.
to swing into Counselor's Corner lane, he probably has some PTSD associated
yes,
with this.
but he's also there's
Smart.
some avoidance
right.
though.
Yeah. Healthy avoidance. Healthy of like, let me ask your opinion. Ah!
Bye.
Sometimes you just can't.
Yeah, just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't.
He takes the flight role
Yeah.
very seriously.
There is no fight. It's just flight, and no freeze there either. It's just
Yeah, no, he's gone.
Okay, so we've got the whole. So what is it? The song is Ochicherna.
It's okay.
Yeah.
When you hear it the first time.
Yeah, and then
you
it's-
hear it 20 times, and you're like,
And then you hear 30 times
When
all
they
at
all
once.
fall over. Oh, Lord.
I love it. I love it so much. It's so funny. So then basically, Kralik is like, this is not good. The quality, it'll fall apart. He's a very smart man.
Yeah.
He knows quality. He's been doing this. But what I love about it is Jimmy Stewart's delivery. There is something about that man's voice that you're just like, I trust him. I implicitly believe whatever he's telling me, whatever character he's in, it's him. That's the man. That's Kralik. There he is. Because he plays it so effortlessly. There's no like, oh, maybe he's just like acting. No. That's Alfred Kralik. That's the man. That's the guy.
there's something very genuine about him.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I like how he says, like, one of his arguments that he makes against the box.
Yeah.
Get to later becomes a selling point for
Yeah,
the box
right.
for Miss Novak.
Yeah.
But he says, like, imagine like you're a smoker and you smoke 20 cigarettes a day. You're going to open this box and you're going to hear this song 20 times a day.
Yeah.
He's like, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And then Miss Novak later on, are we getting there? Or
I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
that's a little ways away.
we're
Okay.
we're closing in on it. So basically, go ahead.
So Miss Novak comes in,
Yeah.
and she at first is acting weird.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't really want to buy anything, but like, I need to talk to your boss.
Right.
And he's like, no, you can just talk to me. I'm pretty sure I know what he's going to say. Blah, blah,
Right.
blah. And then the boss walks up.
Yeah.
And
He's like,
heard
oh,
that.
you know what I'm going to say, huh?
Yes, dude, you're kind of predictable. I'm sorry.
And then
guy's, like, halfway
and it
down the
was
stairs,
he
goes
said
back up.
exactly what he was going to say. She was seeking for a job. He's like, he's going to tell you no. And then the boss, Mr. Already, here we go.
The
Mattercheck.
Wizard, the
Now
Great
check.
Powerful Oz.
Mr. Wizard of Oz walks up and he's like,
Literally.
he's like,
The
no.
wizard.
He's like, I can speak for myself, you know.
Yeah,
What can I help you with, young lady? And she's like, oh, I want a job. And he's like, oh no. And
Told you.
He's very
he's
cheap.
like, I told you.
Yeah.
But he wants to buy these freaking boxes
Yeah.
that aren't going to sell.
Well, so what's funny? So before Novak comes in, or is it? I mean, it's after Novak. Like he gets on the phone with his supplier.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, I just need a few more minutes, and then he gets really like, clunk.
It's like, I need more. I can't. 5 is not enough.
Yeah.
I love how he's hiding behind the
Yeah.
couch. Like, dude. Okay.
So what I love about this movie is there's so much kind of like there's so much detail with each of them that there's so like you get a sense of who they are. Matacek he's strong, but he's kind of a cat when it comes to like it's kind of fun. More of a mouse, I guess, if you want to say it. So then Novak shows up. No openings, but then she's able to sell a box to
And
somebody.
she sells it for more than what the
Yeah.
guy was originally
That was an
wanting.
impressive thing to watch.
Yeah.
But okay,
But
so
you can't sell anymore after that.
Yeah.
this is the opposite that I was talking about.
Okay.
Where our main guy,
Kralik.
Kralik, said that you open the box, you're going to hear it 20 times a day,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Well, this lady comes in and she thinks it's a candy box.
Oh,
and Novak's like, well, you know, you're going to hear this song, but use that as like, you don't need so much candy.
Oh, she's got some mind,
Yeah.
not mind games, but like some psychology, reverse psychology going on. Like, hey, use that, and it sells her on it. She buys it for as much as she's offering.
It's almost $6, which is
Yeah.
a
A
lot
of money
for them.
A lot of money from the 1940s.
And then it cuts.
And this is where I get so frustrated because I'm like, she's hired now?
Yeah, it
And the
doesn't.
boxes aren't selling.
It doesn't say that she's hired. It just cuts. She's already working there.
Yeah.
There's a sign in a window about the box, and it's now selling for like $2.50.
Right. Okay,
Take these,
so here's
please.
the thing, though. Here's the thing I'll say. As a writer and of like sometimes maybe future screenwriter, whatever, there are movies out there where you would have to sit through them showing you the lead up to that moment, and you just be like, get me past this. I want to see something happen. So what this movie does cleverly is it cuts and then says, okay, now here's what happens. And then as a viewer, it trusts you as a watcher to go, ooh, I know what happened based upon what I'm now. Ooh, I'm seeing. Oh, okay, I figured it out. I'm able to move on and move past it. Hollywood sometimes doesn't do that in these days. They tend to like spoon feed you like a little baby. Like, here comes the airplane. Here comes the plot. Nom, 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 nom. And then you're like, oh, okay. Sorry, I'm a little mad.
But I mean,
Cranky.
the last thing that they literally tell her is no.
Right.
You're not getting a job, and then now she's working there, and that was kind of. They could have been like 6 months later. That would have been nice. I don't know.
Okay, you should write a letter to the producers and directors of this movie who are more than likely no longer with us. Zoe is
I'm looking
her
at my notes like, what is
Because
this?
it was made in 1940.
yeah.
Dude leaving to tell the doctor not to come.
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Oh
so-
yeah, that was funny.
Okay, so he hires her.
Actually, he's one of my favorites.
Yes,
that guy.
he
He's
is funny.
The family guy.
Her and Kralik do not get along after she's hired. They like each other for like a hot second, and then it's like cats and dogs living together. And it's just they are. What I love about it, they do portray they don't like each other. Like it's absolutely clear these two do not enjoy each other's company. They are definitely, and I think part of it probably is because obviously she got hired, and he was like, we shouldn't hire her. But for whatever reason, Matichek said, okay, she cut the deal. She's obviously got something smart. And I think this feeds Kralik's frustration because he told him, no, it's bad. It's not going to work. It's not going to sell. And then he hired her thinking it would sell, and
it still
then it didn't. And so there's probably some grudge holding from Kralik to swing into Counselor's Lane again. Walk us through why you should or should not hold a grudge. Like, what does that do to a person?
Unfortunately, if you're not gonna let go, I always think about that little image where they're like holding onto a rope and it's like cutting into you and you're bleeding and all the things. But if you just let it go, you don't have any attachment to that anymore, and it doesn't pull you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Unfortunately, Kralik does not know what that means.
No.
Because
He does not.
yeah.
He's like a glutton for punishment or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So this
She's
is
really quick to jump the gun too.
Oh,
He
for
says
sure.
one student, she's just like, and he's just like, well, let's just do it. That's what they're like,
that was a brilliant representation.
Like
of
some chihuahuas.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how we just compared Jimmy Stewart to a chihuahua. That's
By the way,
cute
these
one.
actors in real life like really got along, and
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart loved working with her, although she was a difficult actress.
Yeah.
In many ways, but
Really?
So I had in my notes that she's actually infamous for her quick temper and disdainful attitude. But they knew each other personally and were excited to work together. And I think Jimmy Stewart had gotten frustrated with her before, but like they're friends, they knew each other.
Yeah. So now we get to the layers of the story that begin to. So you start to wonder what's going on, and what I love about this movie is it doesn't tell you until a certain point,
And you figure it out.
and you go, oh no, but it doesn't do that until it's far enough in where you're left to go, what is happening? But that's the power of this movie, is it makes you keep watching it because you want to figure out, okay, what's the story? Why is this happening? And who and what? And oh my gosh. And then you're like, oh, because then you look back and you go back and you watch this movie again with that knowledge and you go, every single thing that Vadik does makes sense. And you're like, boom.
Yeah, I feel like it's a movie that you should watch twice just so that you have the full picture of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because my first time through, I wasn't into it either, and then it was like, wait, what? What's happening? Or how do we get here?
Yeah, it's a lot. It keeps going. Okay, so Mr. Matichek begins to suspect that something is going on with his wife because she stays out late and she's asking for lots of money from the
$1,000.
Yeah.
And to put that in perspective, later on, guy gets fired and he gives him his month's salary.
Yeah.
which
Which
was
is
only $200.
Yeah.
So the guy he's working for is only making $200 a month,
Yeah.
and his wife is over here asking for $1,000.
Like almost every day.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. it's
Like, what are
crazy.
you doing with this money, ma'am?
Well, we find out later. Oh, Zoe
What?
just had a moment of realization.
Oh,
Her mouth is wide open.
okay.
Well,
What?
because remember that part where Vadis or whatever
Yeah.
is like, look at all my money.
yeah.
Yep.
Huh?
You figured it out. You got it.
Yeah. He was.
Now I get that.
And he comes
piece.
in with nicer clothes, and he's like, "Send your boy through college."
Well, because at first I was like, why is he doing that? And now I get it.
See, that's why
Okay.
watching it more than once, you like catch all this stuff, and you're
okay.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So again, good filmmaking, whether or not you like the movie or not, they really did a good job of layering that stuff.
I think it's more like it was predictable to me just because I've seen the other movie.
Oh, okay.
Whereas like you were probably just like all in shock because you had no idea like what's going on. But
No, as soon as the thing happened, I knew. I was like, oh, okay.
what thing?
When they find that, well, when he finds out who she is. When he finds out that
His
she
pen
is
pal is.
the
Oh.
pen pal.
Okay.
And then,
We're talking about another element in the plot.
yeah.
There's a
well,
lot.
you asked, so.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on in this movie, which I love because it's a layered one. Okay, so Kralik has now Christmas is coming. Christmas is almost here or is approaching, and so Kralik is going to. It's time to meet. They've decided after exchanging letters for so long, they're going to meet together, and then.
But then he gets fired.
So he doesn't. Not that yet.
Because that's what makes him not show up. Or
No. So here's what happens. So the meeting is stalled because Mr. Monachek demands that everyone stay after work to decorate the shop.
Yep.
He's right. So everyone's required. But at this point, Kralik is kind of trying to be like, well, hey, can I go? Can I go? And so that feeds into the boss's suspicion about what's going on and what's happening, which again has not been revealed yet. Right. We don't know what's the tension between the Monachek and Kralik. We don't get it. We're like, why is this passive aggressive anger, frustration, whatever going on?
Sure. And it turns out because Monachek was thinking that Kralik was the one.
Yeah, who was having
his wife.
Having an affair. So Kralik is called into Mr. And this scene is heartbreaking because Jimmy Stewart plays it as in disbelief and not even knowing why and not being able to get an explanation because Mr. Monachek doesn't tell him why. He just says, I don't trust you anymore. I can't. Whatever. You're fired. Here's your paycheck. Give me your key. Yeah. Bye. We'll see you later.
He gave him a nice recommendation letter.
He did. He said, I have a letter of recommendation. So he no one in the shop understands. And so they're all really sad to see him go. And I love, I like this movie. I know y'all.
Even his arch enemy is like,
yeah,
you're cool to work for, actually.
Yeah, he's
technically, I'm still on board with this movie at this point.
Okay, so we're all on board. Phil is going to jump out and get in his own speedboat in a minute.
Throw myself out the passenger seat.
Oh my god! Don't do that.
Well, it's fine. He'll be caught. It'll be a stunt double. It's fine. It's Phil's gonna be just fine. He's not gonna actually jump out of the moving podcast.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mannequin. Wink.
Have you ever seen that movie, Mannequin?
No.
Okay, we talked about it on this podcast, I think, with a previous host, didn't we? We talked about Mannequin.
I have no memory of this.
I've never heard of that. So
it's. I think we did. Okay, well, we'll have to revisit it with you guys.
The rest of us are lost internet.
It's okay. We'll find it. Yeah, Mannequin with I'll look it up here in a second. Okay. That was a dove.
Anyway, they have to decorate in the shop.
Yes. Okay. So then he fires him and he leaves.
That stupid window, man.
Yeah. So the window causes issues.
I literally wrote on here when the wife called for $1,000 that they need a divorce.
Yeah.
I wrote that.
Yeah, but in the 40s you wouldn't. You just go along and you'd figure it out and you try.
A lot of money back then.
Yeah.
Well, and he's so cheap about everything else.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he tries to treat his wife. He wants her to, whatever. So then everyone goes home, and Mr. Monachek meets with a private investigator who informs him, and this is where the hood is lifted, the light is shown. We understand what's going on. That his wife is having an affair with one of his employees, and the private investigator says, "I know who it is. It's this man. It's Forensic Vadis." And that just destroys Monachek. He's absolutely like, I fired the wrong man. I did all these horrible things. And so the private investigator leaves, and Mr. Monachek kind of loses it. And we see him, he either grabs a pistol or something and goes into his office. And we're left to go, it's going to happen. Oh my God, well, this is really happening. And then Jimmy, our friend, our favorite... Peppy. I'm calling him Jimmy. Peppy shows up, and we don't. This is what I love about this movie is that in 2025 we would have seen the struggle in the office for the weapon. We would have, but in 1940 they had more sensibility. So we hear Monachek, no, and then I think we go to fade to black at that point.
Well, no,
he
Pippin
moves the gun.
He comes out with the gun and sets it on the thing.
Yeah. But then you don't see anything else. Yeah. That's it.
So that happens. So now while that's happening, we're now moving over to the cafe. Is this where we lose you?
Almost.
Okay. Well, we're getting close. I'm so excited. So we get to the cafe, and our family man is hanging out with him. He's walking with him.
Yeah.
And he's the one who says, "Ooh, I think I know who it is. it's this person. He tells her it's her, doesn't he?
Basically.
Yeah. He says,
Because he sounds like, I'm afraid to look and see. Can you look for me?
Yeah.
Because if she's something like that, if she's
Well,
cute,
first he's just like, she looks like Mrs. Novak.
and then he says, "Oh, it is."
But it is.
Novak. Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, we as the audience, we already knew that it was her.
Yeah.
And this is where it starts to lose me. Because when he goes in there to talk to her, he's had every opportunity in the world to
Right.
be like, oh, it's me.
Yeah.
We've been talking to each other.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Nope.
They don't have that conversation
Nope.
until the very last second of this movie.
And this
It's
is where we lost
frustrating.
Phil.
And oh, man. Okay. After this,
Yeah.
what's his name?
Kralik.
He is a manipulative jerk. He knows. He
Okay.
knows exactly who
Yeah.
she is.
Yeah, yeah.
And he strings her along. She even makes the comment like, I'm going psychologically insane or something like
Yeah,
that.
she does actually say that.
And he keeps going.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
Like, I'm having a Lewis Black moment over here.
And just to the extent of how long he plays that is just
Yeah.
a little drunk.
yeah.
All right, so counselor's corner for a moment. Obviously, this is inappropriate behavior. You should not do this.
Yes.
This is borderline abuse.
Yes.
This is
Borderline.
This is why you don't date people on the internet or Craigslist
Right.
or
or the
newspaper
mail, or
or
any of those things.
whatever.
I mean, I know I have friends they've had great exceptions to the rule of just
Oh, totally.
not for us.
Yeah.
Like, he even takes it so far as to, like, he knows that it's him, and he takes it so far as to pretend like there's another guy involved.
Yeah.
And, like, I laughed when she called him bow-legged.
Kind of deserved it.
Okay, so
That's the last good thing I'm going to say about this movie.
Okay.
from here it's all downhill. Okay, so in the movie's defense, we're talking 1940s, right? So we are nowhere near the more, and I want to say politically correct because that's not the right term, because obviously this kind of behavior is uncalled for. You shouldn't do it to anybody. But we're in a time where it's played for humor. It's played for laughs. And as an audience, they're anticipating that you're going to be uncomfortably chuckling at the varying like twists and turns of this story, because you're just like, oh, it's Jimmy Stewart and he's playing her, and because in some ways she played him through her descriptions of who she was. She was clearly not these people that she was saying she was, and she was overblowing it. And so in some ways, in probably the 1940s, people were like, oh yeah, man, she played him, now he's gonna play her. It's back and forth. They're playing their game. They're playing games with each other. Yeah, in 2025, we don't do that. That's not appropriate. That's not acceptable.
Nope.
No approval from any four of us on this podcast to say, hey, yeah, you should do it like this. This is a great way to, romance somebody.
Like, it makes them, like, to me, it's not romantic at all.
Right.
And then it makes them, like, look, what am I trying to say here? Like, it doesn't seem likely that they would actually get together after that.
Right.
Like, once she found out, like, oh, you've known this whole time.
Right,
You've been
that's a
manipulating
conversation.
me.
You don't just-
You've been letting me feel this way. Like, no, you're a jerk.
Like emotional distress. Like
Yeah.
she was gonna.
And if not,
Like,
guaranteed her good friends or like her family would be like, listen.
Yeah.
But no, we're getting engaged by Monday.
Yeah, I know. It's bonkers. It's
Fair
uncomfortable.
point.
Because I would even say this went on for like month or so. Like I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like
Yeah.
a couple days. Like I can maybe a
because
day,
of the
whatever.
So the first letter that he started talking about, and then we get that jump to where she's hired.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
6 months.
That's 6 months right
So
there.
yeah, it has been going on for a while.
It's like, bro.
At least the pen pal lettership part has.
So
But-
I will agree that Kralik does not adjudicate himself well for the rest of this movie, because the next scene is when he goes to Matichek, gets promoted,
Yeah,
takes
yeah.
over, and then so Novak calls in sick,
God, ugh.
and then
I'm sorry. Yeah, he
he
becomes manager.
writes a letter and then goes and visits her, and she reads the letter that he wrote in front of her.
And he's watching her just smile and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but you're.
He makes a comment saying that ever since I became manager, you guys are like all my children. And then he calls her young lady. Oh,
I get calling you children if you're a teacher to elementary kids.
Cringe.
But
not to your
these
romantic
adults-
partner.
that whole thing. Yeah, never do that to me, Aaron.
What if I looked at Zoe and was like, young lady?
I would probably slap you, just to be honest. Like, no.
I would definitely at least give you a
The
burning look,
podcast
Aaron.
would come to a quick end, and there would be a lot of silence.
No.
Like not like you could tell like if I'm joking or something. Like,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
young lady, sit down.
But
blah,
you're
blah, blah.
giving me the ick.
But
so.
like you come home and I'm
Right.
like, you come home and I'm like, well, young lady, how was your day?
And I love you when you're giving me the ick. So that's like saying something.
I'm good at it.
There's love in the ick.
I'm
is
good at
your
what I do.
Chapter in your autobiography. That's actually that's probably a romance. That's the next Hallmark movie. Love in the ick.
Loving the ick.
There you go. Call us Hallmark. We'll sell it for you.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, so yeah, he doesn't. I'm not trying to defend this movie. I'm trying to defend the time it was made because this probably was funny.
Yeah,
for people.
I understand that.
People were probably just like, "Oh, it's funny. He's playing her like she played him." Ha ha ha. It doesn't feel great in 2025, even if it is Saint Jimmy Stewart, who's one of the greatest actors of all time and plays really incredible characters.
Well, because I mean, I feel like they kind of do this in You've Got Mail, but it's
Yeah.
not as drawn out.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, there's growth in Tom Hanks's character.
Yeah.
I really would be interested to kind of process through that on
Totally.
the podcast in the future.
you probably like this next part because the other guy gets fired, and that's a good scene.
That
he
is
gets knocked out.
It's
What are you talking
beautiful.
about?
favorite. I was like,
Yes.
keep it going. Swing, swing, swing. Let's do this. So
And
Vada,
that's when all the boxes fall off.
Yes.
And you hear that song going off all different times. 30 different.
And they're all like rushing to like close it.
because they don't like it either. So yeah, so he tells him, okay, you can go back, and he hold on, I gotta read back here. So later that night, Crawler goes to the hospital to visit Mr. Malachek. He apologizes. He said, "I'm really sorry about that." Be the manager. He
By the way,
promotes him.
from a viewer's perspective, I was cringing at this part because I'm just like, man, you had this emotional breakdown, and you're in a dark hospital in bed. You need to be in the sunshine, exercising and getting therapy. What are they doing to this man? Oh yes, I feel better. How?
It
They're
was
doing-
the 40s,
Is it?
unfortunately.
No, but I'm like, you're doing it wrong.
know.
They didn't have like the mental health
Yeah.
things that we have nowadays.
This is before World War II and PTSD really became something they started to begin to understand.
Yeah.
He's lucky he didn't get a lobotomy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
they did
that's
those.
Or be
Yeah.
locked away forever, honestly.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of crazy. So the next day, Novak calls in sick and blah, blah, blah. So then, at Mr. Monachek's request, Kralik fires Vivek. And it is fantastic. Yes, it is. Because
Can we talk about the delivery boy's role in that?
Yeah.
Because it's beautiful.
He's not dead right now.
His voices, I love them.
Yeah. It's one of the greatest parts of this movie because Vadik gets what's coming from him.
Yes.
And I think either
Just
the delivery
desserts.
boy or Kralik tells him, says, "You've been having an affair. You're a bad man. Get out."
Bye.
And so,
Well, the delivery boy and Kralik both give him crap.
yeah.
And the delivery boy almost even more so.
Yeah.
Because
Beautiful.
he's like because he doesn't give it to him personally.
Yeah.
He gives it to the wife.
Yeah.
Like she calls in and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, well, I'm not bringing you that perfume." And say hi to Mr. Vardis.
And all the employees are like,
Yeah, because this whole time he's just been like the sweetest boy.
Right.
Like,
and he figures out what's been going
Yeah.
on.
And
'cause
so that
it's-
is his villain origin story in that moment.
Oh, that made me remember the moment I realized
I
that
would say vigilante
Yeah,
instead of
vigilante.
villain. Because he
Yeah.
saves the day.
when I realized that it was Vitus or whatever his name
Vadik.
was when he was talking about his dining room table and stuff, and I'm like, why are you like in his house
Yeah.
like that? That was the moment I was like,
yeah,
there has
yeah,
to be
yeah,
something
yeah.
going on.
It felt a little too much. You're just
Because
like,
wouldn't you just deliver the thing and
Yeah.
then leave and
Yeah.
not like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a little bit uncomfortable.
yeah.
Very much so. And so then Kralik fires him, and then Kralik visits Novak, and the whole letter cringy, whatever thing we don't really like. And then 2 weeks later, Christmas Eve, is when the sales are going crazy.
oh, they're booming.
Yeah, they
they
are.
are making the money. It is coming in. What?
Mr. Whatever his face.
Matacek?
When he's like trying to play off that he's not the boss. Oh, look how good of a deal that is. And they're like, you should know, like you're the
Yeah,
boss.
they call him out immediately. They're like, "Aren't you Mr. Madden?" Like,
Like, what was he trying to get away with there?
Well, so
he was trying to get some sales going. Okay.
well, part of it, I think that, but I also think because he's been out of the shop for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this shop was his life. He was there all the time. It was Mata check, 120 million different times that they said it. Like it
149.
is 149, 150 now. Like he was the thing. And so for him, when he walks up and he sees, like, because it has never been booming like that. This entire movie, that shop
It's like empty.
Has not been busy like this. And
Yeah, you never see him sell anything.
No.
Except to the lady who thought it was a chocolate
Right.
$50.
That was the only sale they really made.
Yeah.
So the shop is busy, and so for him, I think it's a conflicting emotions like pride in the fact that his workers and Kralik pulled this off and have been doing this, but also like he's like, but I want to do that too. I want to experience that rush that I haven't had for a while, or I haven't had in years. And so to swing into Counselor's Lane again, it's that old feeling of like that was the golden age. I remember those days. Those were what I love. That's what I loved about this job. That's why I kept doing the job.
Totally.
Oh, I get to do what I used to do. Oh, I can be a young man again and impress the customers and do all the things. And he fails, of course.
But then I think he does a really good job of like also letting it go, and like you guys are like the new like era or whatever.
I think he even tells him like he's proud of them.
Yeah, I think he gives them like a raise and
He
stuff.
gives them all a bonus.
Yeah, or a bonus or
bonus.
something. Yeah.
And even the new guy, which he never even met
Oh,
yet.
the little the
Rudy.
new delivery boy.
Rudy.
Yeah.
Rudy. So here's what I love about this movie. So Kralik comes out at the end of the store's closing, and he has nowhere to go because he's not going back to Mrs. Matacek. That is done and over with. Nope. And so he's kind of like, oh, well, do you need somewhere to go? And I think it's Jimmy, not Jimmy, sorry, whatever. I'm calling him Jimmy. What's his?
It was actually Kralik that he asked to go to have dinner with him.
Okay, so Kralik, but then Kralik says, no, I've got to do something or whatever.
Because they're supposed to meet again.
Yeah, they're supposed to meet again. And then who's our newspaper?
He goes through everybody.
Yeah, he
and
goes
asks
through
them
everybody.
like what their plans
And they've
are.
all got plans. They've all go, oh, I'm going here. Oh, I've got this. I'm going here. And then it's the new guy that comes out. He's like, well, I don't have anybody. I've never. And he's like, oh, have you ever been to this restaurant? Like, I've only dreamed of that. Aww. And we both had the same reaction watching it. We'll be going, oh,
it was cute.
Miss Matchek goes, well, come, my friend, come, my boy. Let's go there now. We'll
I
get the best table.
I like whenever Matacek gives Rudy a bonus, like out of his wallet. He pays him some cash.
Yeah.
And Pippin,
Peppy.
Peppy, he like snatches it from him, looks at it, he goes, too much.
I know, it was so cute.
I do like that.
It's like Peppy done.
Well, I thought it was cute how they all like promoted themselves
Yeah.
in some capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
They all climb the ladder some way.
yeah.
So I love that little moment because it's not overdone. It's not too sugar sweet. It's just a touching moment of this old man who has been through a lot.
Yes.
If you think about the Matacek we met at the beginning of the movie, the Matacek we have now.
It's almost like Scrooge.
Yeah.
It kind of is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful actually. So the Christmas story, not the Christmas story. Good
A
Lord.
Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol. It is the Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of, yeah.
Because he was
like, grrr.
yeah, greedy, angry, whatever. And it took a brush with death to make him realize that there are bigger things
He
in
was
the
in a
world.
toxic marriage.
Yeah.
Getting that worked out made a difference.
Yeah. And so he comes alive and is reborn as the new Matacek. And that's brilliant. I love that insight. Thank you, Phil. I didn't even think about that. That's the cool part. I love it. I love how these movies can make us think. Okay, so now we get to the Kralik and Novik part, where they're alone in the shop. And
I was making nachos by this point, so Phil.
This conversation is the one that
on Zoe's checkout meter.
I'm being very honest.
We're at nachos.
Nacho movie.
Yeah.
Nope.
we're
She
built-
got the shirt. She's got the shirt.
I have a shirt that says, "I like my puns intended." That was an intended.
We're gonna build for each of us a rating scale of our various whatever we feel like. Whatever Zoe's checkout point in the movie is, Phil's switch gets flipped. What's the level of the switch flipping? I don't know what mine's gonna be, but
your rant meter.
my rant meter.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Phil, you watch Angry Joe show, right?
Angry Joe. No.
Oh, it's on. He's a YouTuber. He watches.
I've watched Angry Video Game Nerd.
Angry Joe might be your style. Anyway, there's a moment in the last year where he is losing his mind over some stupid video game that they were making making bad. It was bad.
So same but different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was like, are you out of your mind? And so it's my are you out of your mind scale. So I'll have to come up with are you out of your mind scale? We'll figure it out. We'll get there. Anyway, that's a deep cut for you. Okay, so now we get to that moment.
Yeah. This conversation.
You were watching it.
Wait, and what was I doing the whole time? I was yelling at the TV.
You were yelling at the TV.
Because like it's went on way too long.
And then I'm like, it's over? What?
Yeah, this movie does like
That was
shift
just a
into
drag.
third
Yes.
gear and like just swerve for the exit. Like
Literally.
there's not a
That is
lead-
exactly what it felt like.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like
All of a sudden, it's like, oh shoot, the exit is here, and we're about to go off the road.
Yeah.
in 0.1 miles, take your exit. It's like, oh, what? Okay.
because this is where he's like really like going overboard with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, this other guy, blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
like, is he fatter than me? Or like, he's like, no, he claims he met the other guy.
Yeah.
That's where I
Great.
lost it. I was
Great.
like, dude, like, oh man,
Oh yeah.
words I can't say on this podcast. Like seriously, like
Yeah.
because he's like, she asked him like, is he fat? He's like, no, he's kind of like this. And does he have this job or whatever? He's like, no, it's blah blah blah. Like he's just making this dude up.
Yeah.
Like, and then 5 seconds later, they're engaged.
It's kind of true.
It does move a lot faster than you expect. But again,
At the end.
It's just
yeah.
like,
snowball.
Yeah. It moves,
And then that snowball crashes into a rock or a tree or something.
Phil's very angry about this movie. He is not happy.
It's just those little moments like that. Like,
Yeah.
They got engaged too fast.
Well,
I
because he's
agree.
like basically gaslighting her too.
yes, that's
I mean,
yeah.
gas lit the
Yeah.
ever living out of her. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. She's a burned corpse by this point.
she's on fire.
Yeah.
because she says multiple times, I'm psychologically confused.
Well, now you're crispy. So, like,
There's a murder.
Like to the point where
Put some barbecue
like,
on her. She done.
I watched it Netflix. You know, well, it's Gabby Pacheco.
oh
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah,
I
That's what
can't
my brain
even.
goes. Speaking of gaslighting,
Gabby Pietro, yeah.
like it was to the point where like she literally had to not go into work.
Yeah.
Because she was sick.
Yeah.
Like it made her sick.
And I'm pretty sure I wrote down that she like faints or something when he tells her
she
that.
straight falls out in the floor.
thank you, Aaron, for never doing this to me.
Yeah. So here's the thing. What I am probably alone in my love for this movie.
You and your black and whites.
I know that it's absolutely absurd. And I think that's the point of this movie is that everything that you're watching is an absolute absurd like comedy. Just this is nuts. Like no one would ever do this. Except when they do, but like no one would like majority of the 1940s belief would be no, this is unusual, this is absurd, this is really campy, this is that makes for some of the I would think humor. I like Jimmy Stewart and he can't really do anything wrong in my eyes.
To be fair, I have actors and people in media
Right.
that are like that too.
Yeah,
Like
I think what saves this movie for me is the cast. It is an absolute all-star cast. Every single one of them plays their roles, in my opinion.
The delivery boy is
just
fantastic.
like if you were to say, "Hey, is this movie an Oscar possible nominee?" I'd be like, "Hell, yes, it is." For all of it, like again, the storyline is problematic. It wouldn't even make it to the screens in 2025. But in 1940, this was not a bad movie.
I'm trying to like decide like was this the first catfish? Kinda because like he kind of catfishes her, but he doesn't.
Yeah,
Well, they kind of catfish each other, but
catfishception.
what's that guy who does the? We need to call him in. And what is this? I can't remember.
I'm
his
so
name.
confused.
Have you seen the show Catfish, where they like literally bring the people together and they have to talk about it? Like,
It's like when you meet someone online and then when you meet them in real life, it's like
They're not.
They're actually not that person.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks.
so there's a news story recently about a lady who is from Detroit.
Of course.
Are you talking about where she goes to?
She went to India, or was it
Pakistan.
Pakistan, and
And then
catfished a 19-year-old boy with an image that clearly wasn't her.
Yeah,
And she
so
showed up,
she's-
and he ran away with his family.
That's great.
She was
Yeah, so-
stuck in Pakistan, demanded Pakistan pay her money so she could fix Pakistan. Her words, I'm going to fix Pakistan.
Good luck.
Then they deported her or shoved her over
They
to
gave
Dubai.
her. They paid for her ticket to come back to New York.
But she
they had a layover in
Dubai.
Dubai, and she decided, I'm not leaving Dubai.
And she's
Dubai's pretty-
stayed in
pretty
Dubai.
She's doing the same thing there. You need to pay me money, man. And it's like, this is not going to work
I
out for you,
can't
ma'am.
even.
So the catfishing is an age-old practice. It does not usually end well for anyone in 2025. So don't do it. Just not a good idea. Not your best move in the great moves of all things.
Hey, what are we going to rate this movie? That's the point we're at, right? We've talked about the ending.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, because it does the end.
They oh, I love you.
Well,
blah,
Aaron,
blah,
suppose
blah.
you're 10 out of 10.
No, I mean, I think probably like a 7 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing: if it wasn't for the cast, this would be like a 3 out of 10, because obviously it wouldn't be well acted. It'd be terrible. You'd be like, who even watches this movie anymore? Why in the world would you even like keep this wherever it's worth? But because it's so well acted. Like, I can't get over that. Like, this is not a movie where it's like, okay, well, yeah, I don't believe that character's who they are. No, they're believable, and they live and breathe in those roles. And so sometimes a not great movie can be saved by some significantly incredible actors. And I think this movie survives it for me because of that. I will freely admit, yes, it's problematic in 2025. None of these things are acceptable. You should never do any of these things to your partner or to a potential partner or to anyone in your life. To be very clear. Period. Yeah. Not even going to talk. So again, 7 out of 10. The acting is what saves it, and I think the absurdity of it kind of makes it work. But yeah, I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because that would be being like, yeah, it's great. Everything's great. It's not. Not everything's great in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Phil's,
Let's go this way.
No, let's not go this way because I'm still thinking.
so Phil, you didn't like this movie, obviously.
I liked it up until that certain point.
Okay, that's
But
fair.
then to that point, like, it made me so angry. And like, here's the thing, you know how like we always say like movies that make you feel something are good.
Yeah.
Well, you want that thing that you're feeling to be what the movie wants you to feel.
Right. This wasn't the case
This
for
movie does not want me to be angry.
you. Yeah.
Clearly, but I got angry,
Yeah.
and it's like a 4 or a 5
Okay.
for me,
That's fair.
which is just slightly above what I gave Pinocchio.
I think I gave it like a 1 or 2. So
You heard it here first. This movie is just a little bit better than Pinocchio.
sorry, Pauly Shore.
Yeah, we apologize.
I mean, 2 totally different things, but
Right.
yeah, it's just it had me. I was in. I
Yeah.
think that's what made me so mad.
Yeah.
because I was actually enjoying it up until that point.
Yeah.
And then when I realized, like, dude, you ruined my day. Like,
Yeah. No, and I think that's a normal, like, when you watch a movie and you're like, wait, what are you doing? Like, wait, where are you go? What? No, what were you thinking?
no, bad left turn, bad.
Yeah. You're just kind of like, well, so while Zoe and Vicki continue to think, for me and you, Phil, this is kind of what's happened with Star Wars, is we had so much hope for the new stuff, right?
Yeah.
What's interesting, so Skeleton Crew did not do well, despite everyone saying it's a pretty good show. But what they said is the reason why people didn't watch Skeleton Crew and give it its due is because everything leading up to that had been terrible.
Yeah.
And people were like, we're tired of opening up our, like, streaming and watching a show, hoping it's going to get better, and it doesn't. And repeatedly, like you said, for this movie, it repeatedly kicked you in the face and was like, ha ha, you think this is funny? Bah, bah, bah. And you're just like, I would like to not to be kicked in the face anymore.
And the solution to that is not just keep make more.
Right.
The solution is to make it better.
Yeah.
Like, the Star Wars thing, like, I hear Star Wars now, like, I don't even get excited.
Yeah.
And when back in the day, like, I was extremely
You
excited
were
to
sold
hear
out
new
for
Star
it.
Wars.
Yeah.
But now it's like, kind of like Marvel.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I hear some of the new Marvel stuff is not bad.
Yeah.
I heard that Captain America New World is just okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of, did you hear about the movie theater collapse?
What?
Yeah, so it was showing, I forget exactly where it was, but they were showing Captain America Brave New World, and because the movie's not that great, there wasn't that many people in there.
Oh.
But the ceiling collapsed.
Oh no!
It was 100-year-old theater.
Yeah, it was like 100-year-old movie theater, and
Oh no!
yeah.
Why did it collapse though?
It's just old.
Old.
It was just really old,
They
and
probably weren't taking care
the
of
bones were giving out, and
Jeez.
but thank God it was like that movie and not like
Like-
Sonic 3 or
Right?
Oh my
Wicked.
God.
something like that.
Because
where
it was like those.
there was
people
only
would be
like 2
gone.
people in there.
Yeah. Like it.
It was kind of like when I went to go see Joker 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Like
my
the ceiling,
Lord.
the ceiling could have fell out. In
We
there
were
and we'd all
also
been
in
fine.
Craig. Okay. No offense.
All right, so we're going to come back to Joker, whatever the movie sequel's called, in a moment because I have something to talk about there.
Good
all right,
deal.
so what do you guys? Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay, Vicky.
I'm with you, Aaron. I agree 7 for the same reasons because even though I don't like the gaslighting and I don't agree with all the things in this movie, I kind of have to suspend my disbelief and go, okay, this is like during the time.
Yep.
For the time, but
Yeah.
like you, like the cast and the story writing, like having watched it like a second time and a little bit, I watched it my third today.
Yeah,
Like I appreciate it more.
yeah. Zoe, it's a deep sigh in case you're wondering.
Okay.
It's okay to give it a 1 if you want to.
No, it's not that. It's just, I think I'm a little upset because I went into it with a lot of high hopes because of all
Yeah.
the other black and white movies that we've watched that
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so then I was a little disappointed.
And like you've got Mail, which is so good.
Yeah. And I don't feel like they drag out that him messing with her.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if that part wasn't dragged out so much, I wouldn't have not liked it. So I probably would give it like a 5.5.
Okay, that's fair. So I watched. So the Cinema Sins does this. They look at movies and they
Yeah.
give them sins. I have not seen the sequel to Joker. I will not see the sequel to Joker. But I watched the Cinema Sins review takedown of it, and
Can I predict some of the stuff that they said?
Sure.
Did they say that the whole movie is meaningless?
Yes.
Did they say that they totally ruined Harley Quinn's backstory?
Yes.
Did they say that Harley Quinn does not actually exist
Yes.
in this?
Yes.
Oh my God, dude.
So I watched
It's not
it.
that deep.
I watched the thing, and it was just like because the guy, his name is Jeremy. They have millions of subscribers. They're a big deal on YouTube these days. But they were like so mad. They're like, this is what did they do? Like, what was the thought process behind this? You took a really great movie that I personally did not enjoy, but on a technical level, impressive as all heck. Like, damn, y'all did a good job. I won't watch it again, but y'all did it, and people watched that movie. People loved the
yeah.
original Joker.
You gave it a good rating.
Yeah.
But you also said you wouldn't watch it again.
No, under.
Well, it's like you, the Joker, the apartment.
Yeah.
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 Same
So they were basically like, they were confused. They're like, what is this movie trying to tell me? Because they were trying to be like, okay, I think I know what they're trying to tell me, but I don't know what they're trying to tell me. And they were like, this movie doesn't know what it's trying to say, because they went almost in just every direction at once. And yeah, he started out, I think within the first 3 minutes, he gave it 1,000 sins because it was such a like swerve in the Joker. Because he was like, if we had gotten another actual Joker sequel in similar feel and tone and all the storytelling of the original, they would have done billions at the box office. If they would have told the next evolution of the character, actually committing his crimes and building his empire with Harley Quinn at his side, can you imagine? Like, you don't get a better actress than Lady Gaga. The woman can sing. She can act. She can do
and dance very
yeah.
well.
She's one of the few triple threats.
Yeah. She is the next Julie Andrews. She is that good at what she does.
And she has chronic pain.
Yeah.
Because she has
I didn't know
fibromyalgia.
that about her.
Yeah.
Wow.
So to see her do that is like
yeah.
a deal.
So when so that's what the frustration was, is like, what? No. And so yeah, they were mad, and I was mad watching it because I haven't seen the whole movie, but as I was watching the clips, I was like, and then in the end, obviously Joker dies, and then what they're Phil is now
Technically in the beginning.
okay, yeah, so yeah, so. He dies, but then we get the indication that the guy who killed him is the actual Joker.
Is the new Joker.
Is the new Joker, and the Joker that we're eventually going to see. And part of me is like, look, I know it would have been more expensive to pay Joaquin Phoenix to actually play the Joker for a couple more movies, because the man's an impressive actor, a little strange, but an incredible actor. So they probably were like, oh, we gotta find a way to actually make this work. Let's ha 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 ha. I'm just like, what the heck?
Well, no offense, but the new one fits more in line with the Suicide Squad and all that BS.
Oh,
Yeah.
brother.
Because I hate that Joker with a passion.
Is that Jared Leto's
Yeah.
Joker?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
The one with the grill.
Yeah.
Ugh, so disgusting.
I won't watch it. I just one of those.
I
things
watched
where
it
it's like,
one time.
And that was enough.
One time. Yes.
That was enough.
Yeah. Now Harley Quinn, I like Margaret,
yeah.
whatever face.
Margaret Robbie.
Yeah, Barbie lady.
Yeah.
She was good. But
So the thing about Harley Quinn is that is it's a delicate character because there's been a lot of issues that have been raised with Harley Quinn's relationship with Joker and the psychological things that are going on or have been alluded to there with Joker. It's deeply troubling and deeply within. If we were to spend a good half hour just laying out
extremely unethical.
Yeah, it is insane how
Number one.
Right, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, not professional at all in any stretch of the imagination. But I think if it's done properly in a storytelling fashion, we can understand obviously Joker's descent into madness and Harley Quinn's descent into madness as well, and why that pairing, when told well, does work in the structure of their psychological self-destructions that they're experiencing. Like, there's a lot there. You don't want to glorify it. You don't want to promote it. But you do want to be like, this is the condition of the human psyche when it's damaged and destroyed and there's no support and there's no help and they're on their own. And, the darkness takes over and that's what they know. Yeah. So that's why Batman, that whole the Rogues Gallery and all of the Batman stories are so rich and well done. And like we've, for the most part, have had good movies with Batman because it's good. Like, but yet they choose to do stuff later in the DC universe. And I'm just like, why would you tell that story? Like, there are legions of comic books that tell so many stories. Dark Halloween, all of this stuff with Batman, and you choose Batman v Superman, huh? Ben Affleck, which arguably was one of the best recent Batmans in history. That's what you do to the boy? That's how you treat him?
I gotta say, the newest show, The Penguin.
Yeah.
Really good.
It is actually really good.
It takes place right after the Batman.
Oh, okay.
I am vengeance.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That Batman.
Okay.
So the end of that movie, the dam explodes and half the city gets taken out with water or whatever. And this show starts off exactly at that moment.
Nice.
The actor they got for the Penguin, because
yeah.
I don't really know anything about the Penguin, but he is like, whoa.
He's good stuff.
Yeah.
They do take some liberties. Like in the old Batman with the rubber suit, wasn't his hands like fused kind of like that? Okay, so his hands are fine in this. Okay. It's his feet. Oh. And his feet are
they're disgusting.
But they only show it like once.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like, oh, dude. God.
Well, there you go. You learned. I learned something on the show I gotta
watch.
watch.
Are they doing a season 2?
I don't know.
They better. What?
It might be setting up for like the next movie in that
That's
thing.
Not okay.
Because, spoiler alert, at the very end, you see the bat signal in the sky.
Oh,
it's just like the Joker where you don't see Batman.
Oh, okay.
Well, in the Joker, you do see him as a kid, but in the show, you don't see him at all or hear about him.
Okay.
You just hear about some guy that beat up the Riddler.
Right.
But yeah, it was really well done.
Nice. Okay, well, that is an episode. We finally made it back in the beginnings of March with our...
Ides of March.
And like a lamb, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Where the Ides of March.
Right.
Which happens to hit over spring break.
Yep. We'll see what happens with the weather and everything like that. We will be back. Actually, we can. Oh no, next Sunday won't be work. We'll be out.
As I was saying, you and I are going to be traveling.
We're gone. So we will be back in 2 weeks' time with.
Let's do You've Got Mail.
Yeah, we should do You've Got Mail.
You really will like it better. I promise.
Y'all heard that, people.
It is a romantic comedy, that you're gonna like.
I'm hopeful.
Tom Hanks.
It's got more people in it that are like my time, like Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Meg Ryan.
Ryan, and it's from '98. So I mean.
Yeah.
That is the peak of the
Yes.
romantic comedy era. Sleepless in Seattle, While You Were Sleeping, When Harry Met Sally.
Yes.
And
When
then
Vince Vaughn is in everything.
Yeah, kind of. Sort of, a little bit. Yeah. All right, well, there you go. Any last parting thoughts before we close out the program?
Stay healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Drink your water.
Take
your
water.
vitamins.
Go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor.
Go to therapy.
Yep.
Take care of yourself.
Do your
people.
homework.
Yeah, do your homework.
Cough. Don't cover up your coughs.
And
cover
don't,
your mouth when you
don't
cough.
touch your face.
And wash your hands. Okay, cool.
This has been brought to you by the
take a
Nerds for
shower.
Screenlight Health Program. Yeah, take a
And
shower.
3 people who work in the education system.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. All right, until next time, my name is Aaron.
I'm Phil.
I'm Vicki.
And I'm Zoe.
This has been Nerds by Screenlight. We'll see you on the next episode.
The raspberry flapovers will be out in a moment. The kitchen is closed.
You've been listening to the Nerds by Screenlight podcast, presented by Create at Morgan Productions, located in Fort Morgan, Colorado, USA. For more information on our production house, other podcasts hosted here, and further details, please visit www.createatmorgan.org. You can find us on Twitter at the handle CreateAtMorgan. Create at Morgan is a school club at Lincoln High School, our alternative education campus in Morgan County. Our sponsor is Aaron DeLay, a language arts teacher at Lincoln. Send any feedback to adelayedteacher@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast.